Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Laughing to the Void podcast with your host, Colin. That's me. This is episode 7. Thanks for tuning in if you're new. If you're coming back, also thanks. A fear I had as a child was a humanoid-like creature about a foot tall living in my room and just scurrying around and doing irrational things to scare me during the day. I think this came from my passion for Harry Potter when I was younger. I watched all the movies, and when they put Dobby into a small human-like creature, it kind of painted the picture for me of what this fear would look like. And my thought is, what if Dobby was so fed up with being treated like shit because he's a slave, basically, and he wanted to take revenge, but he did that in the form of like psychological torture of some random kid from the suburbs that happened to be me. I recently saw the Mr. Beast curing 10,000 people of their blindness video, and it made me think if he would ever go back to his old style of content where it's more like physical challenges like counting to 1,000,000, but now that he has more money it could be more extreme, like now he could induce himself into a coma for like a year and a half and hire some guy to act as his replacement, but his company runs on its own for that year and a half, and the challenge is that he still has a YouTube channel or still has a name by the time he wakes up out of the coma. So, Mr. Beast, I challenge you to put yourself in a coma for a year and a half. I'd love to see the challenge. Or if you want me to do it, if you want me to go in a coma for a year and a half and have someone stand in for me, I'd be willing to do that. I'm all yours. In other news, I was thinking about my success, or like trying to be successful in the level of wealth I wanted to achieve during my lifetime. And I think a good goal or a milestone that I want to get to is where I can throw away the ends of the bread and not really sweat the issue, because right now it's kind of heavy on my conscience that if I throw away the bread, that's like throwing away like a tenth of the $5 that I spent. And that tenth of the $5 will add up over the year. And I'm eating quite a bit of bread, like at least 2 pieces a day. So I just want to be financially stable enough to where I can throw them away and not really worry about the repercussions. Because truthfully, if I didn't have to eat them, I wouldn't. I guess I could like donate the ends of the bread. I could create an organization, like a foundation that's called like Ends of the Bread, where everyone just gives away the bread ends to this organization. We feed the homeless together. Or like we could do like the ketchup bottle too, like ends of the bread plus the bottom of the ketchup where it's like watery. That'll be my foundation name. Maybe like the top of the applesauce where it's all watery as well, because no one wants to drink that. Like you have to mix it in before you eat it. Another thing we could add is like the base of the strawberry. Like after you bite it, there's still like some left, but sometimes you choose not to nibble on that because you're a grown-ass man and don't believe in nibbling on things. Yeah, I think the ends of the bread, watery end of the bottle ketchup, top of the applesauce water, base of the strawberry foundation. I think that could work. So on a bit of a darker note, last year I went through a period where I had death anxiety for about 6 months. And I think it started because I think it started after graduation. I finished my degree and just started thinking about my life and like where I want to end up and that sort of thing. And it just made me worried about like how my legacy is going to be viewed, how my family, like where my family is going to end up, where my friends are going to be, just like worrying about things that I can't really control, to be quite honest. And I think at this point I've come to terms with the fact that I'm going to die, and I think it's fine as long as every day I'm doing what I enjoy or doing something close to what I enjoy, because you never know, like tomorrow you could be sitting in your place and a gas truck could run into your apartment and then it would explode and you would die, and that would be it. Or you could just be sitting in your room watching watching TikToks like the Family Guy clips with the Subway Surfer on bottom, and you just have a brain aneurysm for some reason. So, if there's a positive message to take out of today's episode, it would be to live your life and do what you enjoy, because life is very finite and every moment is worth living. You can't really do that all the time just because it's not mentally feasible or probably financially feasible, but do what you enjoy, I guess. Have you ever seen someone with such a pronounced brow that you think you could take your index and middle finger and stick it under there as such, and they could just lean sideways and just kind of swing back and forth from your fingers under their eyebrow? I saw someone the other day like that, and it kind of piqued my interest of whether they could just do some pull-ups with their eyebrows on my fingers. I think they're definitely built for it enough. They definitely got like the facial strength for it. But I think it might just come down to like conditioning. In other news, I walked in on my friend's cat grooming my friend's nipple hair in his sleep. And that should be a reminder to everyone that you should be trimming yourself regularly. So yeah, take that as you will. I was thinking about how I'll die the other day because I thought someone sprinkled anthrax on my bike handles because there was a bunch of white flakes on it. And I kind of accepted it. If that's the way I go, then that's the way I go. Just so be it. I get poisoned by some anthrax handlebars, then I'm just gone. I've had a lot of intrusive thoughts lately. Like, I was at the bar the other day, and I saw some bald man, and I thought, what if I just took my hand and slathered it in pine tar and walked up behind that bald man and just smacked him on the head with my pine tar hand and test if I could lift him up with just the pure friction of the pine tar with his skin. I came to the conclusion that I don't think I have the grip strength to lift up a man, even a small man, just by my pine tar hand, because I don't think my deltoids are strong enough yet, like the muscles like right here. But I do think I could do it two-handed though. It's kind of like lifting up a basketball with one hand. Like, I can't palm a basketball because my hands are just too small. But if I had the two hands on top of his head, that's like double the strength. So I would have to lube up both of my hands with pine tar to smack this dude on the head and just lift him up. I do think if it was like a small child where their head was like softer and it's not like fully developed, you know how like babies, like their head is kind of smushy? I think I probably could get away with that, like just the pine tar on the child head and lifting them up like that. But outside of that, that's not really the goal. I'm trying to do it to like a fully grown adult. So yeah, I guess I just have to work on my delts and my grip strength at the gym over the next few months before I can make that dream happen. If you have any hand workouts or wrist workouts or delt workouts that I can work on in order to achieve this, I'd love to know. This is a Manscaped ad rewritten by me, but instead of their normal products, they sell lawn tools to trim yourself with. So I will keep doing this until I'm sponsored by a company of this size, so you're going to have to suffer through this until that happens. When manscaping, you got to use the right tools for the job. And trust me, your balls will thank you. I've actually been using Manscaped for months already. I own a couple of their products like the Steel 2-inch head shears with non-stick blades and their Lice and Roach Killer Spray, because it's the only thing that saved me from a scratchy scrotum. Manscaped was kind enough to send me their Perfect Package 3.0 kit, which includes their new and improved paste finishing wax, along with other liquid antiquing wax for your manscaping routines. Their lithium-ion cordless chainsaw is the only trimmer made with skin-safe technology, helping you avoid the absolute suffering that comes from common grooming accidents. And it even has its own 5-amp battery and charging station for convenience and ease of use. They will last up to 90 minutes on a single charge. The package also includes their Muriatic ball deodorant and Mold Armor ball toner, which I know this sounds absolutely hilarious, but trust me, it works. I bought it for myself. And to keep it super convenient, subscribers will get a new Milwaukee chainsaw chain delivered straight to their door every 3 months. And best of all, for a limited time, subscribers will get 2 free gifts: a 15 count of 30-gallon paper lawn bags and Manscaped's anti-chafing bleach powder. Click the link in the description below. You can get yourself 20% off your order, plus 2 free gifts and international shipping when you use the code, insert my code, at manscaped.com. Manscaped, a best the man can get. I add that last part in. That wasn't rewritten, but yeah, I think that's a good enough showing for me to get a sponsor from Manscaped. All right, this is the Explain That Snap segment, where I take my saved Snapchats and explain them to you, the viewer. So this first one is a picture of me, and it says, "Do you think DaBaby can use pontificate in a sentence?" So I picked pontificate because it's a very long word. And to be quite honest, I don't think DaBaby can use the word pontificate in a sentence. I used myself as a proxy to his intelligence, and I don't think that I could use pontificate in a sentence correctly. So I just kind of had the idea. What if DaBaby was asked in an interview, "Can you use pontificate in a sentence?" What his response would be. And now for everyone's favorite segment, Would You Rather? I wrote a couple for this week. I know I had like 4 last week, but I only have 2. But yeah, I think you guys will enjoy. So this is the Would You Rather number 1. So, would you rather chain smoke 2 cartons of Marlboro Reds in a bathroom, given that you must smoke each one to the orange filter? You can only smoke 2 at a time, but they can be interchanged sequentially. So if one is burnt out or you smoke it to the end, like the filter, you can replace it with a new one. You're supplied with 3 standard 4.5 gram Bic butane lighters to light the cigarettes. And after they burn out, the lighters, you must use flint and steel to light them. And the flint and steel is unlimited. A Bic lighter, as described, stays lit for about 55 minutes, giving you 2 hours and 45 minutes of light time with all of the lighters combined. It takes about 4 to 5 minutes on average to smoke a Marlboro Red, according to the first link on Google. And you are relegated to a 35 square foot full bathroom. There is ventilation, but you aren't allowed to open the window or tamper with the ventilation to overpower it in any way. The heat in the bathroom is set to 72 degrees Fahrenheit, but will likely rise as you continue smoking. You're given a single 1-liter Dasani to drink while smoking, and if you run out, you must drink toilet water since the sink and shower both broke last week, and you haven't gotten it fixed yet because your landlord company is slow with maintenance and haven't come out yet. So you can assume the toilet was cleaned 2 days ago, but has had regular use since that. You can flush to get new water as much as you want, but you cannot drink from the water tank above the toilet, like the thing behind where you sit, as it will be fastened to the toilet. You must dispose of your cigarettes in the sink, and you have to clean the sink and deal with the plumbing repercussions of you throwing cigarettes in the sink after you finish. So that, or inflict paper cuts on each of your fingertips from top to bottom and soak them in a bowl of 99% isopropyl alcohol for 4 minutes. You use Hobry Mule Photo Rag Barta 315 grams per square meter squared, 100% cotton paper to cut your fingers. So expect larger and deeper cuts than a regular paper, since this is very quality paper and the paper is very thick. You cannot attempt to stop the bleeding before you cut all of your fingers. And it's recommended that you have a healthy breakfast so you don't pass out from the blood loss. And after you soak your fingers, you can bandage them in any manner you choose, but you must buy the items on your own. You get one person to help you treat the wounds, but you must stop the bleeding yourself as they are mainly there for bandaging purposes. The alcohol sits in a blue plastic 37-ounce bowl, and the bowl and alcohol are provided. And this is just one of those bowls from Target, the really cheap ones, like less than $1. And as a prize, if you drink the blood-soaked alcohol, you are rewarded with an all-expenses-paid trip to Cancun, in which you will stay in the Evo Star Selection in the presidential suite for 7 days, and you are allowed a +1 for the trip. Me personally, I think I would take the paper cuts over the smoking of the 2 cartons of Marlboro Reds, just for the fact that I don't want to get lung cancer, but it would be extremely inconvenient to have the paper cuts, as you literally wouldn't be able to do anything with your hands in the next few days. I do think it would be quite a pain in the ass to clean the sink after you've put 2 cartons worth of cigarettes in it, and I think you'd get some questions from the plumber when he asks, like, oh, what happened here? Why is your sink filled with cigarettes? Even though that's kind of a rhetorical question, like, I put cigarettes in the sink. But it's more that you're wasting their time, and I wouldn't want to do that, but you know how it is. So I think I would take the paper cuts on both of my hands. And so this is the second would you rather. So would you rather complete a PhD in physics from Ohio State University in condensed matter, given that you're fully funded for 10 years, and you can start from the very beginning, like basic math, physics, and statistics if you need to? You must go into high temperature superconducting, which is basically when things get hot, more electric go through. And you must work on the theoretical side of physics instead of the experimental side, which basically means you do more math than the other choice. You pick your advisor, but you may not get your first choice, and if you don't, you must complete 1 marathon or 2 half marathons to stay in the program to show your dedication. And you're not allowed to speak until you finish your degree, so you either have to learn sign language or carry a whiteboard around with you to communicate with other students, professors, just general people that you interact with in life. But that's up to you to figure out. And if you're unable to complete the degree within the 10 years you're given, you are bound in a straitjacket and blindfolded and set out to sea in a life raft. And the sea is the nearest coast to you that is salt water, brackish not allowed. In the boat, there is a large knife in which you are to cut yourself out of the jacket, assuming you can find the knife in the boat. It's just randomly scattered somewhere in there. There's a month's worth of Mountain House beef stroganoff with noodles in the boat, like the camping packs. And you get 30 gallons of water and an 8-gallon propane tank to cook the food with. And to guide yourself, there is a Atwood emergency telescoping paddle in the boat. Survival is up to you. You can choose to jump out and swim or stay on the boat, but any military or civilian boat cannot pick you up. You must survive by finding land. So either stay in the boat or jump out and find land. You will not get help. That's guaranteed. So that, or be diagnosed with necrotizing fasciitis, otherwise known as a flesh-eating bacterial infection, the MRSA variant. Symptoms include fever, swelling, hardening of the skin, formation of large blisters, internal skin bleeding, reduced sensation on the skin, and if it gets bad enough, shock and maybe death. The death risk is usually between 25 and 35%, but assume this is an unknown variant in which there's no known cure, and thus the chance of death is between 60 and 80%. And the only way to cure it is to travel by foot from the New Delhi railway station parcel office at the Ajmeri Gate, New Delhi, to the Key Monastery, which is located in the Himalayas at an altitude of 4,000 meters, or about 13,000 feet in American. And at the top there lies a cure in a small glass vial in which you inject yourself with and cure yourself of the necrotizing fasciitis. So you buy all of your own equipment and food, but you must carry it the whole way on your back. You must sleep outside. You are given 11 days to complete this, and according to some rough calculation, the walk would take about 8 days without stopping. And if you don't make it, you are sent to a Indian prison until you succumb to the disease or make a prison break, given that you aren't dead via the disease. I think this is a scenario that you could call a win-win, because you either get your PhD in physics and are pretty much set for life, or you get to have some time to yourself in a life raft, and you get to eat the beef stroganoff with noodles, and I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty fire meal. I think I would choose that over the necrotizing fasciitis, as I don't really, I got MRSA earlier this year, and it's been kind of a pain in the ass to deal with, and I just don't want to have to go to the doctor all the time, just figuring out like, oh, I have to do this and that, until they tell me that, oh, you have to make this journey by foot. I think the journey would be pretty fun. You get to see a lot of, or at least for me, it would be a very different culture to what I'm used to in India and New Delhi. So I think it would be cool in that sense, but I don't know. I think if I had this necrotizing fasciitis and I had to make the trip, I don't think I would make it in the time allotted. I think if I was fully healthy, there's a very slim chance I would, but I think it's kind of out of the question given that I'm sick. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the physics PhD. And to wrap it up, we're going to do the TikTok of the week segment, in which I show you TikToks that tickle my fancy that I found within the last 2 weeks.
I'm a savage.
I like that just because it's so raw and so repulsing that I find some joy out of it for some reason. All right, here's the next one.
Sigma males are more attractive than alpha males. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Anthony Spade channel.
That's what Andrew Tate watched to get inspired. It's like Andrew Tate's version of Andrew Tate. I wonder if this is what Andrew Tate fans wish they could be. And here's the next one.
I graduated in 1991. Damn, that motherfucker older than the motherfucking moon plus the sun. He got older than the damn solar system. I come through, I might pop trunk on your sister. I eat fried gristle and bacon with eggs and toast.
Don't tell me you haven't ever listened to Riff Raff and thought, this is the greatest lyricist of the past 200 years. Put Shakespeare aside, put Kendrick Lamar aside, put Kanye aside, put the guy that wrote all those novels that like to fish, put him aside. Riff Raff is the true number one. But yeah, that's about it. That's about all I had for you guys this week. I appreciate you if you made it this far. Drop a like and subscribe. I know I've said this the past 2 episodes, but I do have a video coming out. It's in the final editing stages. I'm actually about to edit it right after I finish this. But yeah, it actually might come out before you see this episode. But yeah, if you came from TikTok, welcome to the channel. I've gotten quite a bit of traction for my Would You Rathers, so pretty cool to see. So yeah, please subscribe. I'll see you in the next 2 weeks. Actually, in my next video. So yeah, thank you and good night. Or good morning.